Did you know that most commercial potting mixes are loaded with fillers that do nothing for your plants? If you want thriving, healthy plants, you need the right soil mix, and you can make it yourself at home for a fraction of the cost. Hello and welcome to Don't Do This Guide, the channel that helps you avoid common gardening mistakes and grow your plants the right way. In this video, we're going to delve deep into the world of soil, and more specifically, how to mix your own perfect blend. Because let me tell you, a good gardener knows their soil, like a good chef knows their ingredients. If you're serious about gardening, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a tip. Now you might be thinking, why bother mixing my own soil when I can just buy a bag from the garden center? And it's a fair question. But the truth is, many commercially available potting mixes are simply not up to scratch. They're often bulked out with cheap fillers that do little to benefit your plants. Take peat, for instance. Now, peat has its place, don't get me wrong, but it's often overused in commercial mixes. It's cheap, holds onto moisture, but it can become too dense and airless, suffocating your plant's roots. And that's the last thing we want. Then there's coir, often touted as an eco-friendly alternative to peat. While it's true that coir is a more sustainable resource, it can be inconsistent in quality. Some coir is poorly processed and can actually contain high levels of salt, which can be detrimental to young plants. And let's not forget about the wood chips. Now, I like a good wood chip as much as the next gardener, but in potting mixes, they can actually rob the soil of nitrogen as they decompose. This means your plants have to compete for this essential nutrient, leading to stunted growth and yellowing leaves. So you see, while store-bought soil might seem convenient, it often comes with hidden compromises. By mixing your own, you control exactly what goes in and can ensure your plants have the best possible start in life. So what exactly makes the perfect soil mix? Well, it all boils down to three key elements: organic matter, aeration, and drainage. Get these right, and your plants will reward you with robust growth and abundant blooms. First and foremost, we have organic matter. This is the lifeblood of your soil, providing essential nutrients, improving soil structure, and supporting a thriving ecosystem of beneficial microbes. Think of it as the compost heap of your potting mix. Good sources of organic matter include well-rotted garden compost, leaf mold, which is a particular favorite of mine, and worm castings. Next, we need to ensure our soil is light and airy, allowing roots to breathe and grow freely. This is where aeration comes in. Materials like perlite, vermiculite, and even rice hulls create air pockets within the soil, preventing compaction and promoting healthy root development. And finally, we need good drainage. Just like we don't want to stand in waterlogged boots, our plants don't want to sit in soggy soil. Good drainage prevents root rot and ensures your plants can access the water and nutrients they need without becoming waterlogged. Coarse sand, pumice, and even finely crushed gravel can all help improve drainage in your soil mix. Now, I'm a firm believer in keeping things simple, especially when it comes to gardening. So, here's my go-to base mix recipe that works wonders for most plants. It's like a good fruitcake recipe. Once you know the basics, you can adapt it to your heart's content. We'll start with equal parts of three key ingredients: good quality garden compost, which provides that essential organic matter, then coir peat for moisture retention, and finally, perlite for aeration. Now, you can adjust the ratios slightly depending on the needs of your plants. For example, if you're potting up succulents or cacti, you might want to increase the drainage by adding a bit more perlite or even some horticultural sand. This simple base mix provides a solid foundation for healthy plant growth. But remember, just like us, plants have different needs and preferences. So let's explore how to customize this basic mix for different types of plants. Now, just as you wouldn't serve the same meal to every guest, you shouldn't use the same soil mix for every plant. Different plants have different needs, and understanding these needs is key to their success. Let's take a look at a few examples. For thirsty plants like tomatoes and cucumbers, you'll want a moisture-retentive mix. Add a bit more coir peat or even some well-rotted manure to your base mix to help hold on to moisture. For succulents and cacti, which prefer drier conditions, increase the drainage by adding extra perlite or horticultural sand. You can even mix in some small gravel to create an even sharper drainage. For acid-loving plants like blueberries and rhododendrons, you'll need to adjust the pH of your soil. Adding ericaceous compost, which is specially formulated for acid-loving plants, will help create the ideal growing environment. And for seedlings and young plants, which have delicate roots, a lighter, airier mix is best. You can achieve this by using a finer grade of coir peat and perlite in your base mix. Remember, observing your plants is key. If you see signs of overwatering, like yellowing leaves or stunted growth, your soil mix may be too dense and holding on to too much moisture. On the other hand, if your plants are wilting quickly, you may need to increase the water retention of your mix. Now, mixing your own soil is a rewarding experience, but there are a few common pitfalls that can trip up even seasoned gardeners. Let's take a look at some of these mistakes and how to avoid them. Firstly, don't be tempted to use garden soil directly in your potting mix. Garden soil is often too heavy and can harbor pests and diseases that can harm your potted plants. Stick to using good quality compost and other ingredients specifically designed for container gardening. Secondly, avoid over-compacting your soil mix. Compaction reduces aeration and makes it difficult for roots to penetrate the soil. When potting up your plants, gently firm the soil around the roots, but avoid pressing down too hard. Thirdly, be mindful of the quality of your ingredients. Use fresh, good quality compost and avoid using ingredients that are moldy or have an unpleasant odor. These can indicate the presence of harmful pathogens that can harm your plants. And lastly, don't be afraid to experiment. Every gardener and every garden is different. What works for one person may not work for another. Keep notes on your soil mixes and the results you achieve, and don't be afraid to adjust your recipes over time. Now, mixing your own soil doesn't require a fancy arsenal of tools, but there are a few essentials that will make the process easier and more enjoyable. A good quality potting scoop is a must-have for transferring soil and amendments. Look for one with a sturdy handle and a comfortable grip. A large tub or bucket is essential for mixing your soil ingredients. Choose one that's big enough to allow you to mix thoroughly without making a mess. A pair of gloves will protect your hands from dirt and any sharp edges on your ingredients, like perlite or vermiculite. And finally, a watering can with a fine rose will help you moisten your soil mix evenly without disturbing the structure. When it comes to storing your homemade soil, a cool, dry place is ideal. Avoid storing it directly on concrete floors, as this can draw moisture out of the mix. Instead, store it in breathable bags or containers, clearly labeled with the date and contents. Now, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the cost. Many gardeners believe that buying pre-mixed soil is more cost-effective than making their own. But let me tell you, that's rarely the case. Think about it. When you buy a bag of pre-mixed soil, you're not just paying for the ingredients. You're also paying for the manufacturing, packaging, shipping, and marketing costs. And let's be honest, those costs can really add up. On the other hand, when you make your own soil mix, you have complete control over the ingredients and their cost. You can buy in bulk, source materials locally, and even make use of your own garden waste, like compost and leaf mold. In my experience, making your own soil mix can save you a significant amount of money in the long run, especially if you do a lot of gardening. And the best part is, you'll have the satisfaction of knowing exactly what's in your soil and that you're giving your plants the very best. Now you've mixed your own soil, carefully chosen your ingredients, and potted up your plants. But how can you be sure that your homemade mix is doing its job? Well, there are a few simple tests you can do to assess the quality and effectiveness of your soil. Firstly, the squeeze test. Take a handful of your moistened soil mix and gently squeeze it. It should hold its shape but crumble easily when you poke it. If it forms a tight ball, it's too dense and needs more aeration. If it crumbles immediately, it may not hold moisture well enough and needs more organic matter. Secondly, the drainage test. Fill a pot with your soil mix and water it thoroughly. The water should drain freely from the drainage holes within a few minutes. If it takes much longer, your mix may be too dense and needs better drainage. And finally, the pH test. You can purchase inexpensive pH testing kits from most garden centers. These kits will tell you the pH level of your soil, which is important for ensuring your plants can access the nutrients they need. Remember, creating the perfect soil mix is a journey, not a destination. Don't be afraid to experiment, observe your plants, and adjust your mixes as needed. There you have it, the perfect soil mix you can create at home to help your plants thrive. It's about understanding the fundamentals, getting your hands dirty, and taking a little time to nurture the very foundation of your garden. No more wasting money on overpriced store-bought bags. By making your own, you're not just saving money, you're investing in the health and vitality of your garden. And that, my friends, is a recipe for gardening success. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Don't Do This Guide for more expert gardening tips.